All right, guys, so check this out. Number one question I get every single day is this. In fact, I don't know if you can even see this, Bobby, but check this out. Chef Mike on Instagram asked me at 1:51 p.m., right now it's 3:48, so a little bit less than 2 hours ago, we got this question. So this is why we're doing this video. This happens all the time. People ask me, this is literally what Chef Mike says. Hey, Pace, hope all is well during this crazy time. I wanted to ask you, is it possible to do a subject to on a property that's free and clear? The answer is no, that is not what subject to is. So I said, that's called seller finance, and the answer is yes. So technically, at the end of the day, it is subject to, but that's not how we depict it. So we're gonna get into that in just a second. He said, word, seller finance is similar, right? What makes it different? And because it's Instagram, I don't really have the ability to type. Actually, when I answered this guy, we were driving the car and I was paying attention to somebody else. But my answer was debt versus no debt. That's the biggest difference between seller finance and subject to. So let's do a little situation here. So we just bought a property in Nevada, no joke, just today. Okay, this property in Nevada is just south of the Strip. It's right by the airport. We're gonna end up buying this property as an Airbnb. I bought this property actually at full retail value, which is a very stupid thing to do as a real estate investor, but why did I buy it at full retail value? Well, because this gentleman already has a mortgage or a deed of trust. He has a deed of trust with Wells Fargo for $290,000. I am buying the property at full value of that house, but I'm paying literally $0 for it up front. So I will be the owner of the property. I don't have to go out and get a loan because I simply take his loan, what we call subject to. So I am buying his property subject to the existing mortgage of Wells Fargo. So do I go out and get a loan to pay off his Wells Fargo loan? No. I literally just take ownership of the property. The deed is now controlled by me. We go through a title company and an escrow company, and I now am the owner of this property. I can do what I want, how I want. I get all the tax benefits. I get the write-offs. I also have all the legal responsibility of that property as well. HOA, taxes, insurance, and I simply just take over his mortgage. There's a debt in place. So this is called buying a house subject to the existing mortgage. So does this mortgage get wiped out and his name gets removed from the mortgage? No. This mortgage stays in the gentleman's name. His name is actually Xavier. I don't remember if that's exactly how you spell his name, but his name is Xavier. Spoke to him on the phone today. We got into a contract and we're closing escrow in 3 weeks. I'm doing nothing. The seller actually is going to pay for the closing costs because he wants to get rid of the house. He can't afford the payments anymore. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take over the payments, we're gonna turn into an Airbnb, and I have zero liability on that situation. My name's not on the mortgage. I didn't have to qualify it. I didn't have to use my taxes. I didn't have to use my credit. I didn't have to use my job history. Didn't have to use anything. And I bought this property subject to today in Nevada. In fact, Bobby, I don't know if you and I maybe want to go to Vegas and go do a real deal in Vegas. That would be freaking cool. Is there any BMX shows in Vegas, or what's the deal? Maybe we should do something there. Oh, nice. So this property, the reason it's called subject to is because there's an existing debt to Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo says, we will let you buy this property, but you owe us money because we let you buy the property. I now told the seller, hey, I'll take over that debt. Leave it in your name, but I'll be the one that logs into your Wells Fargo account and I'm the one that makes that payment. That is called subject to. Now, seller finance. Let's say I run into the same exact guy, and I buy the house from him for $290,000. The difference is he has no loan from Wells Fargo. In fact, he's paid the mortgage off entirely. There is no debt on this property. That means now, if I buy the property for $290,000 and I don't bring any money to the table, but now I start making payments, where do I make those payments? There's no bank for me to make the payments to. Guys, where that happens is the seller themselves creates a note and deed of trust or a mortgage, depending on what state you're in, and I start making payments to the seller directly. We create a debt for $290,000. So seller finance is literally the seller financing us the property. The seller acts as the bank, and they say, you know what? I care more, and this happens all the time. I can tell you, like number 2 or number 3 question I get on a daily basis is, why would a seller ever do that? Why would a seller ever sell their property to you and not get the money out of it right up front? Well, because if they sold it on the open market, typically, they're going to have to put renovations into it. You're going to have to pay commissions to real estate agents and all that kind of stuff. They might end up with $220 in cash. So a lot of sellers say, I'll sell to you for $290 over a long period of time because I care more about this number than I do about getting the number or the money right now. So long-term higher number or short-term lower number is ultimately the reason why a seller is willing to seller finance their property to us. So very, very quick difference between seller finance and subject to. In both scenarios, I paid $290,000. In both scenarios, I brought $0 to the table. In both scenarios, I'm owning the house and I'm going to turn it into an Airbnb. But the only difference between the seller finance and the subject to is subject to, there's an existing debt in place that I am taking over. And in seller finance, there's no debt. In fact, we create a debt in the seller's name and the seller becomes the bank. So very simple, sounds very, very complicated, but is actually very simple. So again, biggest difference, 0 debt and existing debt that we take over. So in future videos, what we're going to do is we're going to break down how the paperwork transfers, what that all looks like. When I start talking about notes and deeds of trust and all that kind of stuff, it just goes flies over people's heads. But at the end of the day, guys, it's just documents saying you owe me. It's like IOUs, right? This to Wells Fargo, this deed of trust is really just an IOU. I owe Wells Fargo $290,000, and the document is called a note and a deed of trust. There's 2 documents. So guys, super simple. We'll have future videos. And if you want to watch real houses that we're walking through, go watch other videos of ours on The Real Deal. Like, subscribe. Every time we come out with a new video of The Real Deal, which typically is a Saturday or a Sunday, you'll get notified. And it's Bobby Two Hands, which he's holding the camera right now with 2 hands. Bobby Two Hands and myself will be walking through real properties, showing you real examples of how we buy these properties. In fact, next time we go to Vegas, we're going to go to a BMX, what do you call those? Convention. And we're going to go to this property. We're going to stay in this house that I bought today, sight unseen, but I'm $0 out of pocket, knowing I can turn it into an Airbnb. Money. Guys, this is the absolute way to buy properties now and forever. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. There's 2 places that you can learn at a high level all about creative financing. Number 1, click here to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We come out with videos every single week. And then number 2, I would click on one of the links down below about the Creative Finance Facebook group, where we have over 10,000 members learning creative financing together, squatting up and helping each other out with resources. That's a free Facebook group. Very, very cool. We pour a lot of energy, a lot of time into that. And also, if you want to watch one of these other videos, please click, watch them, and let us know how we can help you guys in the future.